the founder and president of Article 3 Project and former law clerk to Justice Neil Gorsuch, Mike Davis. Gentlemen, welcome to you both. Mike, I want to begin with you. Seems to me the reason why the government is struggling to explain why they are undertaking unequal application of the law is because these leftists are abusing the law to take out their political opponents. You know, if they're targeting Trump, why not Obama? Give me your reaction to Justice Kavanaugh's questioning here.
Justice Kavanaugh's questioning, along with the Chief Justice's questioning today, shows that President Trump is poised to win a major victory in this case by the end of June. It could be 5-4, maybe 6-3. I'm not sure where Justice Amy Coney Barrett's going to land, but Trump is going to win on this presidential immunity argument. And more importantly, our country is going to win, because if you can prosecute and throw in prison the former president of the United States based upon his official acts, not his personal acts, his official acts, we're going to destroy the presidency and therefore our country.
Congressman, President Trump's lawyers also blasting the leftist justices' talking points today. They didn't seem to make a lot of sense. Is it me, or does it sound like these left-wing justices don't understand the premise of this case and they're simply echoing, you know, NBC talking points?
Well, they understand the case exactly. They know exactly what they're doing. They were political appointments. They always make political decisions, or nearly always make political decisions. And look, I'm not a lawyer. I'll leave that up to Mike to do the lawyering here. But I can talk about the laughingstock that we are around the world. I have many contacts that I made during my time in Congress as on the Intelligence Committee, and I hear virtually every day from someone that I know around the world, what the hell is going on? Like, I mean, they don't even understand. I heard from a guy today from Europe who said, what's this, the Supreme Court? They're prosecuting Trump? I mean, people are waking up to this, and there's things before the Supreme Court that make us look, quite frankly, similar to countries like Brazil.
Yes, that's the first time I've heard that comparison. Mike, then there's the question over whether the Nixon rule should apply here. 1982, the court found former presidents are entitled to immunity from civil litigation for their actions in office. How can the court, with any good conscience anyway, ignore that precedent?
Well, I think the Supreme Court's going to extend that holding from the civil context to the criminal context. Remember, federal judges are immune from both civil and criminal prosecution for their official acts. So are members of Congress. Right now, the president is only immune from civil prosecution based upon that Nixon case 40 years ago, because we've never had an indictment of a former president ever until Joe Biden, his Justice Department, and these Biden Democrats brought these 4 unprecedented, bogus indictments against President Trump for non-crimes. This is obviously lawfare. It's obviously election interference, and the Supreme Court is on to Biden Democrats' game.
Sure. Well, let's expand the conversation then, Congressman. In Trump's classified documents case, Judge Aileen Cannon going on an unsealing jihad, some of the records that contain really bombshell revelations telling all of us that these lawless leftists, what they wanted to keep from public eyes. First, she unsealed proof that the White House has been colluding with the National Archives and Records Administration from the jump. Then Jack Smith's lead prosecutor allegedly threatened an attorney for Walt Nauta, who serves as a personal aide to President Trump. His attorney was allegedly threatened with sinking a judicial nomination if he didn't get Nauta to flip on President Trump. Doesn't this reveal this entire proceeding has been a political hit job from the start?
What really should happen here is the people who are doing the prosecuting should be prosecuted. And look, this is the oldest trick in the book. I've seen it many times, dealing with, oh, it's classified, it's classified. Whenever they have that and all the blackouts, most of the time, it means they're hiding something. And when I say most of the time, nearly all of the time, I only have to take people back. I know it's been a long time ago, but in 17 and 18, when we were dealing with the Russia hoax, you know, we would be given documents, hundreds and hundreds of pages of documents, completely blacked out. At the end of the day, after years of fighting, the whole thing was declassified, and guess what? There wasn't an ounce of classified information that was in there. So what were they trying to do? They got away with it then. They're getting away with it now. They doubled down. All of these are hoaxes. But the rating of a president's home makes us look like a third world country. It's ridiculous. It always has been ridiculous, and they know it. And it's just a matter of time whether or not the American people are going to let them get away with it. And let's hope to God that the Supreme Court steps up and does the right thing here.
Amen. And gentlemen, this is, this reminds me of, remember when Harry Reid said of Mitt Romney, and of course Mitt Romney laid down and took it, said that he hadn't paid taxes in 10 years. And then when CNN, after Mitt Romney lost the election to Barack Obama, because he just threw that election, after he lost the election, they go to Harry Reid, CNN says, hey, Harry, you kind of lied about that. And Harry Reid looked at the camera and said, yeah, but Romney didn't win, did he? This is exactly what we're seeing right now happening with these cases, and Democrats are behind this too. Mike, let's not forget, Joe Biden himself stole classified documents for nearly half century, and he's going to face no charges for doing that. Yet Trump was entitled to these classified docs and is facing charges. I think this case, more than any other, demonstrates that the federal government under Democrats is staffed with crooks and charlatans. No?
You're absolutely right. And let's remember what the Biden Justice Department was actually after. They were after President Trump's declassified Crossfire Hurricane presidential records that are so damning for Obama, Biden, Hillary, the CIA officials, the DNI officials, because these documents show that the Obama White House, the Obama Justice Department, the Obama intel agencies made up the Russian collusion hoax before the 2016 election to protect Hillary and to go after President Trump. And when those documents come out, there are going to be some heads rolling, including a criminal prosecution against these people who perpetuated this.
Well, you hope so. You hope so. Now, guys, the reason why this is all happening is because the Democrats' head honcho, the brain power behind the Democrat Party, well, he's doing stuff like this. Watch.
Imagine what we can do next. 4 more years. Pause. 4 more years. Pause. 4 more years. 4 more years.
Congressman, Joe Biden, a man who reads his cues in the teleprompter out loud. This is the guy we're supposed to believe is running the country, right?
Hey, this was a big victory for Biden today, because at least he didn't talk about his uncle being eaten by cannibals during World War II. So we got to put it all in perspective.
Okay. Mike, did you hear the crowd, though, of left-wingers there reading the teleprompter better than Joe Biden was doing, and they chanted on cue 4 more years because it was in the script?
This is what's so pathetic about Joe Biden. He knows that he can't beat President Trump on November 5th, 2024. He doesn't trust the American voters. So he has his Democrat prosecutors and Democrat judges trying to throw President Trump in prison for the rest of his life for these non-crimes because Joe Biden knows he can't win.
Yeah, well, Congressman, before I let you go, I got to get to one more thing. You're sounding the alarm on possible unlawful trading practices. Tell us why Trump Media and Technology Group is calling on Congress to open an investigation on stock manipulation.
Well, as you know, Chris, we have a bunch of awesome retail shareholders. And in fact, we don't care if the investment banks and investors these big institutions, if they don't want to buy our stock, great. But we have retail shareholders that matter. There's a lot of irregularities here. We notified the NASDAQ. We've been working with the NASDAQ. And also, we asked Congress to get involved here because, look, if they're doing this, a lot of these firms, if they're producing counterfeit shares, I mean, this is a major scandal if it's happening. And in the past, it has happened. And what happens to them? It's a lot like we were talking about in the early segment. They get a slap on the wrist years later after this goes through litigation. So what the Congress really needs to look at here is that, does this fall under the RICO statute? The Biden DOJ, they love the RICO statute now. So guess what? If people within these hedge funds are colluding with each other, that's RICO. That's actually a real RICO, unlike the RICO that they're using today. So Congress needs to look at that, whether or not these firms are evading taxes. This is serious stuff. So we're going to defend our retail shareholders. We're building a great business here. And I'd prefer, quite frankly, to work on building the business, building our streaming platform so that we can have great companies like Newsmax be part of it. But if I have to run another investigation, I will. All of these investment funds, they know my phone number. They know how to get a hold of me. Guess what? They haven't called me yet. The easiest way to clear all this up is just to say, hey, this isn't happening. It's not happening. And guess what? Guess how many have said that? Zero. Zero. And that tells me there might be something.
Congressman, the left wing is weaponizing everything. I hope that this isn't one of those things. Devin Nunes and Mike Davis, gentlemen, thank you very much. Appreciate the visit.